The first time you do something, you want it to be your worst effort ever. The first time you practice a kata that you've learned for the first time, you want it to suck. You want it to be your worst. The first time you present in front of a group, you want it to be the worst you've ever done. The first time you do a live stream, you want it to suck. I want this to be my worst live stream ever. I want to make as many mistakes as I can during this recording. That scares me though, okay? But honestly, your first attempt, it should be bad, and that's a good thing. Fear of failure holds us back. Look at me, I'm figuring out how to navigate this live stream, and it's really confusing. And that scared me for a long time. I didn't want to go live because I worried about fucking up, which I'm going to do, right? I worried about that. I worried about looking stupid on camera. I worried about not being able to edit my mistakes, to do retakes. So I held back. But of course, I'm not going to get good at live streaming if I don't practice live streaming. I need to take action and make all those mistakes to get better at this, right? So that fear of failure held me back for a really long time. And even this week, I've been planning on live streaming, and I procrastinated all week because I was so worried about doing this. And I did all this prep, and I watched all these how-to videos on YouTube, how to live stream. I set up StreamYard. There you go. I have the free account, not sponsored, set it all up in YouTube, and it's scary. This is scary shit, right? Because I don't know, like, are people judging me now? Probably, but that's a good thing. It's a good thing to put myself out there and do something that scares me, because this is how I'm going to get better at live streaming, right? But that fear of failure, it holds us all back. But here's the thing. Taking action and making mistakes is really, really good for us. And we're so worried about other people judging us. We're so worried about looking stupid, right? We don't want to take those mistakes or make those mistakes. But here's the thing, making those mistakes, it does two things. It gets us really comfortable with discomfort, and it also shows us what could go wrong. So the first thing, we don't like feeling uncomfortable, right? And that's our lizard brain, our amygdala. It really doesn't like feeling uncomfortable. It doesn't like uncertainty. It doesn't like scary situations like that, social situations that scare us. And so it says, hey, don't do that thing, right? There's uncertainty involved. You might fail, don't do it. And, way back when, that was a really good thing for survival. But in this day and age, the way we live, or the way most of us live, that's not helpful anymore, right? We need to get comfortable with that discomfort, because it really isn't, there's no life or death situation. Being uncomfortable on camera, there's nothing, if something goes wrong, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal. So we want to take those risks, do those scary things, and get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, and get comfortable with possibly failing, right? I took a course by Noah Kagan. It was an entrepreneurship course. I can't remember the name of the course, but all the activities were really cool. They were getting us to do things where it was designed to make us feel stupid, where it was designed to end in failure, like going to a coffee shop and trying to get a really big discount, or asking people for money, and it was, the point of it was to take action, even though we felt scared, and to do those things because we're so scared of failing. But when we take action and we get used to failing, we get a lot more comfortable with it. And then that fear no longer holds us back, right? So we want to do that stuff and get comfortable with fucking up, okay? And not have that fear hold us back anymore. And the other part of it is that when we make mistakes, then we learn what could go wrong in the future. So there's certain things that, like for me with live streaming, there's certain things that could go wrong that I can imagine, right? And there's a lot though that I couldn't imagine if I've never done this before. But some things like, okay, forgetting to put clothes on for a live stream. Okay, I can imagine what that would be like if I forgot to get dressed. And yeah, that would really suck and be embarrassing. And my video would get flagged, and I'd probably get my that video taken down, and possibly my channel removed on YouTube. So I'm not going to do that. So I don't need to make that stupid mistake to imagine what, that going wrong and what that would feel like. But a lot of other things, we can't imagine those mistakes, right? So I can't, like, I've never live streamed before and setting all this up. Even though I did all that prep and went through all the videos and figured out how to set up StreamYard and all this stuff, I don't know how to navigate all this stuff. It's really confusing. And, you can practice at the back end before you go live, but not really. Like I need to actually get in here and do it live to figure out what could go wrong, right? So there's a lot of things like I might add the wrong thing, and how do I get rid of this, and how do I add a guest if I had a guest on. I have to actually do it and screw up while I'm doing it, while I'm taking action, not just preparing in my head, right? So we learn what could go wrong, and then we know how to prevent that in the future, right? So I can make some mistakes like, oh shit, I forgot to have my camera on, or I unplug my mic or something, and I make those mistakes, and then I know I'm never going to do that again, right? I'm never going to do that again in future. Oh, look, I have comments. I don't know how to do all this. Oh, hey, yay, thank you. So we've got Ron and Jim. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to, how do I do this? There you go. You're here to support you in the bad. Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate you. How do I star? What do I do this? Star this? Okay. I don't know how I do this. Here's another one. Jim. Smiley face. Thanks, guys. Okay. See, I'm sucking at this already, but that's good. That's cool. That's cool. Do I star these? I don't know what starring does. Does anyone know? I have no idea how to navigate any of this, but this is good. Okay. Let's go back to my banners here. Okay. So here's what I was thinking recently is how fear of, what other people think, it holds us back. And that is the reality. When we take risks and, risk looking stupid and all that, there's that voice in our head, well, maybe I shouldn't do this because people will judge me. And that is a reality. There's going to be people in our lives who will judge us, whether they criticize us to our face or they do it behind our back. And that is a reality, right? That happens. There's going to be at least one person in your life who is like that, who's going to potentially shit on you for the risks that you take and the things that you do. But I was thinking about this. For certain types of people, those people, no matter what you do, if no matter what you do, they will judge you, they will criticize you, is their opinion actually valid? Does that opinion carry any weight? If no matter what you do, they are so close-minded, they will judge you no matter what. And no matter what you do, you can't redeem yourself in their eyes, then their opinion is nothing. It doesn't matter. And you can do anything you want, they will judge you anyway. So why should we let that hold us back, right? And the people who really matter, those are the ones who have our back and are willing to, support us even as we're fucking up and failing, right? They're willing to be there. And those are the important people in our lives. So I encourage you, take risks, do scary shit, fuck up on purpose. And I'm here to support you and encourage you. And I say, no matter what, like, failure doesn't mean that you're a failure, right? It just means you're learning how to do things. You're learning new skills, and it's when I talk about this in some of my videos, when you do something challenging, you're going to screw it up. You're going to, that's part of it, but you need to do that. And if you push yourself really hard, you are going to screw up. If you take the easy way all the time, you might never make mistakes, but then you're not growing. You're not getting stronger as a person, right? And we see this in martial arts too, right? We know that if we always practice our kata really easily and, just sort of go through the motions, we're not going to get better at that kata. We have to really push ourselves. And I follow Trevor Reagan, if you've heard of him. He's really awesome. He has a podcast called the Learner Lab podcast, Learner Lab. And it's all about the science of how we learn, and especially applied to sports. So he talks about training ugly. Our training needs to look ugly. We always want it to look really good, our training. We don't want to make mistakes, look stupid. But if our training looks perfect all the time, we're not pushing ourselves. That means we're not pushing ourselves. When we train ugly, it means we're pushing really hard and we're going to fall on our face, make mistakes, right? And this is how we learn and get better at stuff. This is actually how our brain learns and gets better at stuff. So I'm going to show you my first video ever. This was how do I add this? There we go. My first video ever. Sucked. It was my worst video ever. It wasn't my first video that I've ever made, but it was the first for this channel. And this one, okay, I agonized over this. I had written the script for it a long time before. And then it took me forever to get up the courage to actually film it. And being on camera scared me. I was always uncomfortable being the center of attention. And then I filmed it, and then I didn't even have editing software. And, it took another couple of months, I think, for me to get the software and finally edit the video and then upload to YouTube. But it was the most terrifying thing. I was so worried about being judged. I was so worried about looking stupid, so I held back. And it is my worst video ever. So I'm just going to show you.
You will never feel ready to take that difficult step, to pursue that goal, to make that meaningful change in your life. You never feel ready, so you don't start.
Okay, so I could go on. But anyway, so like overexposed, I was using my phone, which is fine. You can make good videos on your phone. I didn't. I had a really crappy external mic. I had a lot of echo in the room. The gray background didn't really work. A lot of things with this, right? But I'm so glad I made this video, and I will never take this down off my channel. I want to look back and see this video. I think we tend to underestimate how far we've come and how much we've improved at stuff. And, we look at, okay, how my videos now, I look at them and I can find a lot of mistakes in my videos. And I need to see my first effort and see that like record of my progress over time. So I really encourage you to take action and put yourself out there and do those things. And if you can, gather kind of a record of that stuff. Like if every time you're working on a kata, you film it, you record it. And even if it's just for you and you don't show anybody, but you keep those videos and then you look back at your first effort and, and all of them through time, and you will see progress. Even if now you think, oh, I suck, I'm not good at this. Chances are you look back, you will see progress, and we need to see that, right? So, but at the time I thought like, oh my God, I'm going to get judged for this. And the great thing though is, you put yourself out there on YouTube as a small channel. No one knows who you are. No one's watching. So no one cared, right? No one cared. And I have thought at different times of, taking this video down. But if I did that again, I wouldn't see, how far I've come, right? So I think it's important to take those risks, right? And do those things that scare us and then look back and see how far you've come. So I'm going to close that. Okay, there we go. Another banner. So yeah, I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, which is cool. Oh, look, I have another comment. Okay. So Jim, you're not sucking any worse than a lot of other, thank you, than a lot of other live streamers. Really, I really appreciate that. I've got like my two buddies here. How many people do I have here? I have like 2 people watching the live stream. This is cool. Okay. Who's next? Jim, some of them suck on purpose. Yeah, probably. And I had like a thought, like I wonder, oh yeah. Yeah, wait, I gotta make this. I have a banner for this. If you're just here for the feet, smash that like button. I had to have the feet in the video. I have to have a bit of cringe. Okay, so anyway, get rid of that. Back to the comments. Yes. I'm keeping it real. Yeah, I'm trying to do that. And I try and be, authentic, right, with my stuff. And it's hard, though, because I get awkward on camera, right? And I think this is really good to do the live streaming and just, because it forces me just to be me, right? And, on camera, when I'm filming, when I'm recording and doing retakes and editing, then I feel like it kind of takes away a bit of my authenticity. And also I find it's usually when I get to the end of a video and I'm editing it, like podcasts in particular, I notice that by the end, I seem really comfortable and I'm kind of in the swing of it, but it's at the end of all of it, right? So I do get a little stiff and awkward on camera. And hey, how's it going? I'm good. How are you? You've been super supportive. Thank you so much. You've been sharing all my posts and I really appreciate you. I will check. We should do like a podcast interview together one day. Let's do that. Okay. One day I'm going to have guests on my podcast, but right now it's like so overwhelming, all the little things that I'm doing. So, oh yeah, just a admin thing. So I did take a month off of filming because I was burnt out and I'm still recovering from that. So I went through a lot of stuff over the last couple of years. If you've watched my videos, you'll know those stories, but and it was just a lot of things building up. And then I just kind of crashed and had to take a break from filming and I'm back at it. But now I'm playing around with a different schedule and different uploading schedule. So I will be still doing all the things like the podcast. I'm thinking of doing every 3 to 4 weeks rather than every week, at least for now, until I'm kind of healed up mentally, and and I figure out where I'm going with all this. And I will still be doing karate videos, and I want to do live streaming, and I also want to do more creative stuff. I found with the schedule that I had, I was doing one podcast video a week and one action video, karate video a week. And I found it didn't leave me a lot of time for creative videos, like, that require a lot of editing or thinking or, just crazy, goofy stuff that I like doing. Anyway, so I want to have time to do that. And so I think with, doing less podcast episodes or fewer or less often will help me have more time for that stuff. So, but I will be doing all the things. And I do want to make more courses. I am selling courses. If you're interested, I have courses one on nutrition and 6 to help you improve your mobility. I don't want to be salesy. I really don't want to be that kind of person. But I will be making more videos on nutrition and on mobility to help you out, because I think it's really important. So what I do on this channel, just a little thing. So yeah, where is my name? There. I'm so bad with webcams. Sabrina Bliem, the Karate Shrimp. And what I'm interested in is all the things, if you don't know, all the things around our training, not just the training, but around our training that can help us improve on the mats, right? And also just helping all the things we can do to perform better in our lives. That's all really important to me. So I do get into nutrition, a lot of the mental game stuff, the psychology. That's really, I think, where my heart is. I want to get more into sleep and stress management and recovery and that kind of thing. I'm doing a coaching course. I've been dragging my ass with that course, but it's all about sleep and recovery and all of that. And I want to make more content on that in future, because that's something we're all struggling with, I think. I had a really crappy sleep last night. I was going to film this morning, do the live stream this morning. My neighbors were fighting in their driveway last night. It was great. I was out there, I was at my window with popcorn at 2 a.m. But yeah, I've been really tired. So sleep is something that I want to get into in future in videos. And yeah, so let's see, who else is here? Would you like someone to jib jab with in 5 minutes? Jib jab with, like here, now, right now? I actually have to, okay, I have to cut this short event like soon, because I have to get my kids. I have to get my kids. Jib jab, like, do you mean this? Or like this? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Jib jab with, like, okay. I'm dumb. I'm done. See, already, this is a bad live stream. This already sucks. Okay. Are you still training at a dojo, or are you just training on your own so you can focus on all your other endeavors? I'm still training at home. I have my dojo set up. So I had left the dojo that I was at. If you don't know that story, you can watch my video, why I quit my dojo. I was working there, training there on a tournament team. I was training in 3 martial arts, and I quit a 1.5 years ago. And I took a break from, I decided to hold off on finding another dojo last year, because I was still going through all of my mom's stuff. Like, she passed away, and my sister and I we're still going through all the estate stuff, dealing with that. So last year was really heavy. It was a really heavy year, and I wanted to take a break and just train at home. And then I just got busier and busier, and I haven't, then I had maybe more time, but I didn't do it because, I felt more emotionally ready to start at a new dojo, but then I got busier and I didn't have time. So right now I'm just training at home and doing the kid juggle. I have my kids full-time and single mom, and it's a lot. So right now I'm just training at home, and I'm thinking of probably, I had been thinking of, if I started back in karate, well, in where I live, it would have to be a different style of karate. I'd have to find a different style, which I'm totally fine with. But then I started worrying about forgetting, my Meibukan Goju-ryu stuff, and, not being able to do that as well on camera, right, for videos. So I'm thinking it probably would be a different martial art. And I was thinking maybe jujitsu or something like that, but we'll see. For now, I'm just holding off, and I'm honestly too busy. So yeah, I will one day. Do I have any desire to get to Nidan and beyond? Well, here's the thing. So the dojo that I left, it was Meibukan Gojuru. There are five affiliated dojos where I live in British Columbia for that style. And the other ones are all too far away for me to get to. So if I want to get Nidan in that style of karate, well, I'm kind of out of luck. So it would be a different style of karate. And then I would expect to start from white belt again. I would feel kind of uncomfortable going to a different dojo, different style of karate, and walking in there with a black belt. That wouldn't feel cool to me. But yeah, so yeah, I'd love to. But you know, it all just kind of worked out the way it did, and I don't know if it's going to happen. So yeah, like originally it was, I want to get, my 3 black belts and the 3 martial arts I was practicing. So it was Meibukan Gojuru. I have my Shodan in that, and then Ruku Kobudo Teshinkan, so weapons. I have my brown belt in that, and I was practicing Japanese jiu-jitsu. Plan was get 3 black belts. Now it's probably not going to happen, and that's fine. I'm still training in Kobudo and karate, but I'm also not so concerned with that anymore. Like, I think I was, excited about it, and I didn't have any black belts, and it's like, I'm going to get all 3. And now it's like, well, it doesn't really matter as much to me. And, a lot of the time when I'm training, I don't even wear my uniform. It's just wearing whatever. And so the belt, it just doesn't matter as much. Like, it would be cool, but I think more so because I was still, I had a sensei and I was working, moving forward with that kind of thing. That would be more important to me than the belt, I think, if that answers your question. So I know the story of why you left. Do you think if enough time passes, it would be okay to go back to that school, or is that a non-starter? Okay, well, that's like, I haven't really wanted to get into that stuff because I will a little bit. So yeah, I'll just go a little bit into this because I don't want to be, it got ugly. It got really ugly. Give me 1 second. I have a text from my kid. I'm just like texting my kid, just live streaming. 1 sec. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. See? First attempt. This is going well. So I was dealing with harassment. One of the students was harassing me. And then that sensei, who I really looked up to and worked for and trained under, he shit on me over it. So I had to quit because I was not okay with being treated like garbage for being a victim. So I was a victim of harassment and I was treated like crap because of it. So no. So in answer to your question, no. He'll never apologize, and I will never forgive him. So no, it's not okay. And I would never respect him. I would never train under someone who didn't put their student safety first. I would never train under someone. No. Okay. It's totally cool. It's like political too. Like, I don't want to be bitching about people on camera and stuff, and it's awkward, but it's also, I went through shit, and, it's funny because, people talk about, I want to make a video one day about women in martial arts and women in martial arts online and the stuff that we deal with. And I've started accumulating screenshots of comments that I get on my videos, and I get harassed a lot and called a stupid woman and all sorts of stuff. And it's really interesting. But it's funny because, when I was training and competing and all that stuff, at the dojo and regularly competing, I didn't ever feel like I was treated differently because I was a woman until all the stuff happened with the harassment at the end. That's when I felt like, okay, I'm being harassed by someone who's obsessing about me and like physically hurt me because of jealousy over some imaginary thing, physically hurt me and is still stalking me. And then I was treated horribly by someone I trusted, right? And both of those were men. And so it's like, I'm not like, fuck men. Like, that's not me. Like I like whatever. A lot of that stuff just kind of rolls off me, but I really I dealt with some difficult stuff. And so, yeah, this is tough to talk about on camera, right? And it's, being a woman in martial arts on camera, right, online, I get a lot of harassment. I deal with a lot of nasty comments, right? Don't go back, move forward. There are so many brilliant karate schools in the world. Absolutely. And like, when I join a school again, and I will absolutely find another dojo, but like, I want a sensei that, like has my back, and like where I have their back, but they have mine too. And I want to have that mutual respect. Right. And the culture of a dojo is really important to me. And that relationship with the sensei is really important to me. So I'm not settling, and I know what to look for now and watch out for. And I know my worth. And I think we all need to. And you hear a lot of stories. Like I go on Reddit and all, people's experiences at different dojos. And they're like, you do have, as a martial artist, we have the hierarchy, right, at a dojo. And we do feel this sense of loyalty. And it's really important. And I am a really loyal person, right? So I think I put up with a lot of shit for a long time because of loyalty. And, I see a lot of martial artists struggling with that, male or female, and talking about that online. Like, okay, I'm treated like crap and all this stuff is happening, but I feel like I should stay, and you feel like you've got that, the relationship between sensei and student is special, right? And that there is that power dynamic too, which can be, we do look up to senseis and we do look up to black belts. And when you're not, when you start a martial art, it's like, oh, wow, black belt, it's really cool. And you admire that. And so I think a lot of people do get stuck, and stay at dojos that are not good for them, that are not safe, that are not good for their mental health, where a sensei is, doesn't have their best interests at heart, and they're treating it more like it's more about them and they're not putting their students first, which is really important. So yes, absolutely. I think that's a struggle for a lot of people, not just, people who get harassed and that kind of thing. So one day I will find another dojo and it'll be cool. For now, I'm doing my weird little shrimpy thing, but I actually have to go and pick up my kid, my kids. They're preparing for a convention. They're practicing dances for a convention, and they do cosplay and stuff like that. But anyway, this is my first attempt. I wanted to put it out there and just do it. And, I've been putting it off for so long, as I said, and I really encourage you to do those scary things, right? Because, that fear when it comes up, I think it's really important. And here's my last little thing. Fear points us in the direction we need to go. And, there's some things that scare us that fear it's important that we listen to that fear and don't do that thing. Like, jumping off a cliff, or like where there's no water underneath, or, there's certain things that fear is important and it keeps us alive. But a lot of the time that fear comes up and it's not about survival, right? Like it's, public speaking, performing at a tournament, sparring for the first time. We get really scared of that stuff because it's the unknown, because of that uncertainty. But I take the attitude now that if I'm scared of something, it means I have to do it. And I encourage you to do the same. My very first tournament, I had been training at the dojo in karate for 1 week, and then I signed up for a tournament. And then the tournament was 2 months down the road. And it scared the shit out of me. I'd never competed in any like physical thing before, and never mind martial arts. And, I'd only been training for a week. And what I knew, though, is that the longer I put it off, the harder it would be to do it for the first time, right? And I had to do the thing, face the fear. And here we go. Get comfortable with discomfort and find out what could go wrong at a tournament, right? So I knew if I put it off longer, expectations would be higher for me. And that's what happens too. It's like, if you wait and wait and wait to do the scary thing, but meanwhile, you're building up skills, you're learning things, you're watching tutorials, you're taking courses, but you're not actually taking action, that expectation is higher, and you put that on yourself that I should know what I'm doing now. It should be good. So it's really important, I think, to take action, even, when you don't feel ready, and to do it at the beginning as early as possible and take that imperfect action. So, doing your first competition as a white belt when you're going to screw up, right? But that's good, because then you get a sense of, how tournaments go and what mistakes you might make, and you get really comfortable, and no one expects you to do well. So it's okay. So that can be kind of liberating. So I really do encourage you, if you're scared of something, what can you do? What action can you take to just, take action even with that fear? And that's the thing. There's a lot of videos online, a lot of advice out there about, and I've thrown these phrases around myself: overcoming fear, conquering fear, fighting fear. You can't. Fear is a human thing, and it's part of it. Comes from our amygdala, and it's this response that comes up when there's uncertainty or struggle, or we have a tension on us. That's when that fear comes up, and it's rooted in survival. And so you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. That's a biological thing that happens without your control. It's out of your control, and so we can't overcome that fear. So when it comes up, though, it means that we're facing something that's difficult, something that's potentially meaningful and good for us, right? And so that fear can sort of show us, okay, maybe I need to do the opposite of what this fear tells me. And instead of holding back, and then that fear gets bigger and bigger and bigger, just take that scary step and do it. And then you learn you can take action even when you're scared, and that fear does go away. So anyway, thank you for joining me for my first live stream. There's more comments, but I gotta go. I gotta get my kids. Okay, so thank you. And yeah, I'm going to do more of these. Write in the comments in the live chat. Well, I'm going to close it, or in the comments, just for the main comments for the video. If you want me to do more of these, and maybe topics you want me to talk about, things that I could do in these scary videos. Anyway, that wasn't so bad. I'm flustered, but that's because my kids are waiting. So anyway, thank you, and have an awesome weekend. How do I end it?